streets are talking. You are now listening to The Box Out, Tri-State area basketball talk at its best. And now your hosts, Kahlil Thomas and Jason Cordner. Let's get it.
From NJ to BK and the world, this is The Box Out here on the One Podcast Network YouTube channel and on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. My name is Kahlil Thomas. Joining me in just a few minutes will be Jason Cordner from Brooklyn, New York. And listen, me and Jay were texting about it yesterday. Here comes Jay. Jay, what's going on? We were talking last night. We're watching Liberty. I'm waiting for Bruce to pop in here and start popping shit. Listen, I put on Twitter that the loss last night doesn't dampen the season that the Liberty had. But Game 4, Barclays was rocking. They were up by 12, and the Liberty just blew the game. What were your instant reactions to the game last night? Listen, Barclays, I've never seen Barclays Center that hyped. Maybe for Duke, North Carolina at the ACC tournament. That was it. It was crazy.
I think the fandom has definitely surpassed that of a Nets game. Even when the Nets had their little big three, it was definitely rocking. It was rocking all season. And like you said, we text during the season. I was like, hey, when the Aces playing or when they play a big game, they open up the arena and they sold out back-to-back nights. And it was a tough loss, but like you said, it really dampened the season. But the Liberty pretty much fell back into their old ways. When they had a lead, they kind of played complacent. They wasn't really locked down on D. And like I told you, they're missing a dog. Kudos to the Aces. I thought the Aces were shot. Going into Game 4, I was like, there's no way they're going to win the series down 2 starters. But sure enough, they rallied around and they won, and they talked their shit. And the Liberty got fined afterwards for not being available, pulling an old, sore loser kind of mentality towards the end. But it wasn't a lost season, but I think the Liberties, we know who the measuring stick is. And
Nope, I think we lost Jay. Yep, we lost Jay for a little bit. I mean, the measuring stick is the Aces. The Aces are the measuring stick, and here comes Bruce. I was waiting for Bruce to kick in. Oh, wait. I think we got Jay back. Bring Jason back. Bruce is already talking. Roll out if you smell what the Aces are cooking. So that's Bruce for you right there. So listen, the measuring stick you said is the Aces. He also said in the chat that who's the real MVP? And I think Asia Wilson took the MVP personally. And I think, especially last night, missing Chelsea Gray, missing Kia Stokes, I think she said, I want to take this game on and just take it over. And we saw Asia Wilson at her best last night.
Yeah, and then considering she struggled against Liberty all season. So when it mattered the most, she rose. And to be fair, I thought Laney was the MVP for the Liberty the entire playoff run. I feel like if it wasn't for Laney, they might have gotten bounced by the Mystics. If not the Mystics, definitely the Connecticut,
Yeah, I feel like I told you this in text. I feel like but Nigel Laney felt like she was that Vinnie Johnson microwave type star. If they need her to hit baskets and pour some points in, she's there to do it when needed. But I feel like the playoff run, especially with the run that Stewie had, and we'll talk about her in a second, I feel like this probably showed Sandy Brondello that we got to get Benigel Laney more involved in the offense and not make it as Stewart, Ionescu centric. Because when Stewart has a bad game, it's almost dependent on Ionescu having 30, 35 points to counterbalance Stewie's bad game. Now you have someone in Laney who can kind of contribute and be another option. Yeah, I think I lost Jason again. So the Laney idea is most teams, you need a third option, right? You need a legitimate third option. Courtney Vandersloot is not the third option on this team. And she's a great player. She's a great facilitator. She will hit an occasional three. Bruce said she hit an air ball, which I agree with. It was a terrible, terrible last shot. But you need a third player to help kind of soften the load from a Stewart to an Enescu. Besides those two, you really don't have anything else on that team. You don't. You have Breanna Stewart, you have Sabrina Enescu, and then, Jonquel Jones is going to get a double-double. She's guaranteed 15 and 10 every night. Courtney Vandersloot, you don't know what you're going to have. There'll be some days where she's shooting lights out, and there'll be other days where she's shooting air balls to end the WNBA Finals. Stephanie Dawson is not a scorer. Marine Johannes off the bench is a perfect bench player to come off the bench and give you points and give you energy, give you defense, give you instant offense. But besides that, you really don't have anything else on that team. And I think Laney kind of showed that, hey, I can take the ball. I could be that third option if you let me be that third option. If you let me be, hey, it's Stewie, Sabrina, Laney. That is what needs to happen next year. Jason mentioned dogs. I agree with him. Besides Jonquel Jones, tell me one other player that were like, yeah, they're gonna go down there and they're gonna body up, because we saw it with the Vegas series, you saw it, especially saw the Connecticut series, we saw it in Washington, that quick first round. If you bodied up the Liberty, they had trouble. If you muscled up the New York Liberty, that was an issue. You didn't have that kind of follow-up to that. You didn't have that person, besides Jonquel Jones, that can go out and go, okay, they're going to body us, we're going to body them back. Jonquel Jones could be that person, but that's one player, right? You need more than one person that can do the bodying, and that wasn't going to happen in this series. Mm-hmm. All right, so Jay, you back? So I was talking about how you said they need dogs.
Yep.
I said against Vegas, against Connecticut, against Washington, they got bodied. And when you bodied the Liberty, they struggle. Jonquel Jones is the only player on that team that can kind of go head-to-head with teams like that. You need another body that's going to go down low and go, okay, you're going to bang? Okay, cool. We're down here too, because you only got one person right now.
Yeah, I don't think you need another finesse scorer. That's not their problem. Their problem is they need a dog. They need another body.
Bruce put some stats. I'm going to use Bruce as his stats, because it's good stats. I'm unhappy with using his stats, but I will use them anyway. Breanna Stewart's 4-game WNBA Finals against the Aces, 16 points on 36% shooting, 17% from three, 70% from the foul line, 12 rebounds in 4 games. Keep that in mind. 3.5 assists in 36 minutes a game. I've never, and I think someone compared it to Starks in the 94 finals. I think that might be the best comparison for last night for Breanna Stewart. You had the WNBA MVP essentially no-show the eliminating game. I've never seen, besides the Starks, besides James Harden in Game 7 against Golden State, when Chris Paul went down in Game 6, I think it was like 2013 or something like that. I've never seen a performance that bad.
Yeah, I think she kind of coasted, but like when the Liberty struggle, she struggles with them. And I feel like if she's not getting involved, she's very like James Harden. She's disinterested. She's just not going to be, around to do the dirty things, even to help pick up the slack a little bit. So it's one of those things. I think they'll learn from this. It's good. It's good that the Liberty didn't win the first year. We don't like when super teams win year one. So I think it's bodes well going forward.
Well, the post game got me because one, the Aces was on some shit.
They want that. They want it.
Like super teams aren't developed in a couple months. It takes years. I was like, damn.
Ooh.
I was like, okay. And then what you said, you thought they were washed. They're like, no, we weren't washed.
Mhm.
We here. I was like, wow. I mean, is that a team thing? Like, I feel like Becky Hammond, I feel like brought a swagger to them.
That was coaching. That was definitely coaching.
Yeah, that Bill Lambier didn't have with them when he was there. I feel like Becky Hammond going to the Aces brought something to that team that was missing, and you even saw it when I think the off day when she announced that they're gonna be down 2 players, and she was making jokes, and she said, "I'm gonna call Can to see if she can suit up. Maybe I can get that." Like she was actually like, "All good, we're good."
She knew she has some dogs in the back of the bench that are ready to step up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, your starting point guard and Kia Stokes might be one of those underrated players in the league is down.
Yep.
And you pretty much said, they didn't go play, but next woman up.
Not even that. But I don't know if you saw the video where they were both in their walking boots, like if nothing was wrong.
Mm-hmm. They didn't want to show. They didn't want to show that. They didn't want to show that weakness. They're like, no, it's like Aaron Rodgers throwing the football the other night.
Right. Exactly.
So, but you mentioned Skylar Diggins earlier.
Should be a good fit. Should be a good fit.
So I talk about Courtney Vandersloot. Bruce hates Courtney Vandersloot. I think we've established that Bruce is not a Courtney Vandersloot fan. She's washed up. Ouch. Is this a situation where Skylar Diggins comes in for Courtney Vandersloot and go, okay, we're gonna salute. Okay, we love you, but you're done. Okay, let's bring in someone a little younger who isn't at the top of her game, but adds a little bit more than what you bring.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that. It's definitely time. And I hate to say it, but the Liberty got to get a little bit more athletic. There's nothing wrong with that. It just showed itself. And it's kind of like what's going on in football where the Eagles, they've been squeaking out these wins and then, there's a loss. I felt like the Liberty, even though they got to the finals, it wasn't like convincing like how the Aces were convincing throughout the entire playoff run.
Yeah, I think and I feel like you put so much emphasis on Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu.
Too much.
And that was it. They bring in Vandersloot, and that was their big 3, right? The big 3 was Vandersloot, Stewart, Ionescu. Obviously, Vandersloot should not be part of a big 3. Vandersloot is, at this point of her career, she's a role player. So she's not considered anything. You found the star in Laney. You traded Mikhail Onyenwere, which I thought would have been a good thing to have in a series like this. So I think you kind of shot yourself in the foot. There was another player that they moved last year that was on the team that was killing it last year, and the name's eluding me, and I'm gonna think of it like at 2 a.m. tonight. They had to make a lot of moves to make Breanna Stewart, John Cole Jones, Courtney Vandersloot happen. But I feel like some of those moves kind of shortened their bench a lot, and like you said, took away the athleticism. You didn't have a lot of options on that bench. You had, Jocelyn Willoughby she's not great. Dolson gives you size. Dolson can shoot a little bit, but Dolson's not going to body. Rebecca Allen's another player Bruce mentioned. Rebecca Allen would have helped. She's in Connecticut now. I think the moves to get those players and obviously to free up money had to be done. But I think they shot themselves in the foot late because the Aces had those bullets in the gun, like you said, at the end of the bench. Yep. The Liberty were out of bullets. Once Stewie went 3 for 17, they're like, we're out. And Sabrina's put up a regular mortal game. They're like, what do we do now? And there was no option.
Yeah, I think Sabrina's definitely going to go into the offseason and really work on her craft. I feel like she probably felt like she let them down. And if it wasn't for Jones in game 3, this might have been over already.
Which, listen, it was her first finals. Like you have to think about that too a little bit. Like it was Sabrina's first finals. She never had that. Even at Oregon, did Oregon really go on a big NCAA tournament run when she was in college?
No, because they didn't have the tournament that year. They didn't have the tournament her year.
So you almost have to look like this is her first this is like a championship series. She's never really been in this. The Pac-12 tournament is not. I don't care what you say. It's not whatever. You'll build on this. Stewie is gonna stew about this for a while because she knows that she got played out because Asia Wilson said, "I'm the real MVP." You shouldn't have won that shit. One, I should have come in third. That was bullshit. But 2, you shouldn't have won that. That was my award. So I think that they got to do something major. I do want to get your thoughts on, and I want to bring this up because I felt, call me crazy, I felt a certain way about this move that the Chicago Sky made, not the Chicago Sky, Phoenix Mercury, sorry. The Chicago Sky hired Spoon to be head coach.
Good hire.
Spoon. I was happy with that. The Suns made, the Mercury. The Mercury made Nate Tibbetts the highest paid coach in the WNBA. Nate Tibbetts is a highly touted assistant coach from Orlando Magic. The new owner of the Suns and the Mercury said he's going to spend money. He did that. Matt Ishbia spent money with the Suns. He's building the Mercury their own practice facility, kind of like the Vegas Aces got with Mark Davis. I think the job should have went, and people are going to be like, oh, what? It should have went to a female. I think they should have made more point to go after a legitimate. There's some really good college. Dawn Staley is not leaving South Carolina right now. Did you make a call?
Could have made a call.
Did you call Iowa's coach? Did you call? There's so many good coaches, female coaches in not just college but WNBA assistant coaches. Carolyn Peck, who does NBA games, WNBA games on ESPN, she's available. You didn't call Carolyn Peck and see if she won the job. I just feel like HBO kind of shot an airball at this one because I feel like this job should have been a woman's job, in my opinion.
It should have been, but in his defense, maybe this guy really wooed him in the interview, and he was probably convinced that he's going to reinvent women's basketball. I don't know. It's a stretch.
And the tweet kind of introduced you to him was like, basketball lifer, girl dad. I'm like, the fuck does that got to do with anything? Girl dad, cool. Yeah.
SEO. That's a great stuff for SEO right there.
Cynthia Cooper, swoops. Like, there's so many other possible. Teresa Witherspoon got a job. Right?
Yeah, you're right about that.
Cooper was, because Cynthia Cooper coached in college. Tina Thompson's a coach. Like, I don't know. I still think there's just this thing in the WNBA where the owners and the powers that be look to male coaches first before they go to the female coaches.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the female coaches are killing. You had the first time in WNBA history where you had 2 former players coaching against each other in the finals.
Makes sense.
That's a big deal. So I don't know. I love Matt Ishbia. I love what I saw his Real Sports a couple years ago. I was like, I like this guy. Like, he's just a walk-on scrub, and now he's a billionaire and owns the team. I get it, but I think that should have went to.
I'm curious to know how much more money does he make than Hammond. Now I'm curious.
Well, whatever he makes, Hammond's going to get more than that now. I think Mark Davis like, I got you. Don't worry about it. Because for all you say about Mark Davis, with the fucking haircut and his fucking family, that the Davis family hooks up coaches if you're good to them.
Yeah. If
you're good to them and you do what you need to do and you're successful, you're a lifer. Even like old Raiders players, I feel like, Davis like, yeah, I remember you from 1972, and you're like the long snapper, but you're part of that winning culture. He got you. So I think Mark Davis got Becky Hammond. All right. Worst part of our usual season premiere, because this is a season premiere kind of. NBA over-under win totals. Now, obviously, this is just for betting purposes because Caesars and DraftKings and all them other people just make up. I feel like these numbers are made up every year. I feel like they just make up a bunch of numbers. I know Bill Simmons lives and dies by this. I've never took these as gospel because I feel like you're just guessing. You're just throwing darts at the board and hoping that the Sacramento Kings win 52 games over under. So we're going to go over them. We're going to start local first. Okay. Let's start with the New York Knicks. Their number is over under 45.5. So let's say 45. Okay. Is that a good number, or do you think I think it's a little high, to be blunt.
Really?
I have zero faith in the Knicks this year.
Really?
The faith has been sucked out of me completely. And
but you know what? Before we go there, I'm noticing this trend in sports, and I kind of feel like it kind of started with the Heat but they're not getting enough credit about it. But look at baseball the last 2 years. The best records, they're getting wiped out before we get to the league championships. And we look what Miami did as an 8 seed, as a play-in team. With that being said, how much stock do you take in the regular season? Because I'm starting to really not take as much stock in it, but you want to build a roster that's competitive towards the end of the season, getting into the playoffs.
I mean, obviously you have the all the resting and the load management, which the NBA is trying to outlaw. But Kawhi Leonard's like, fuck yeah, like if I don't feel like playing, I ain't playing. You're right. I feel like between the resting, obviously there's a lot of trades at the deadline, waiver pickups, buyouts. I feel like the teams that are playoff bound aren't going to get their rotations really, really, really super set until like the last 10 games of the season. And that's when you kind of build that cohesion. However, for the Suns, that shit didn't work last year. They tried to kind of on the fly do it in the last like 5 or 6 games, and it didn't work out for them. So I think the regular season still has some value, maybe for the teams that.
And now we have the play. We have the play. What is mid? How's it the mid-season?
The in-season tournament.
I'll tell you what, though, I think that's destined for Milwaukee to win. That's what I think so. But back to the over and under.
Wait, Dame went to Milwaukee just to win the in-season tournament, not win a championship, win the in-season tournament.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. All right, go ahead.
So back to the Knicks. I think they're about 47, 48 wins.
Damn. Ooh.
That's because I feel like I was just telling my boss today. I feel like there's a legit case that you could have 7 teams win a championship this year. You can make that definitive argument.
Wait, 7?
7.
Give me those 7 right now. I'm curious about this number. Okay.
Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put Boston.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Lakers. I'm gonna put Golden. Yeah, I'm put Lakers, man. Lakers. Don't underestimate LeBron's entering. Whatever season. You got the Lakers. We got did I say Nuggets? I said Nuggets. The Warriors. I can see them making a run.
Okay.
Phoenix.
5.
Who else in the? I gotta say Miami. Until you kill them, I'm gonna put Miami in that.
Okay.
Philadelphia, they can still spin this mess They can still spin this mess. They can still spin it.
That's your 7.
That's
your 7.
That's a 7.
There's so many problems with that 7.
which puts the Knicks right on that cusp of like they're not bad, but they're not top tier good. So I think there's going to be a lot of wins. Like, especially remember how for so long the Nets were never a win. It was never a W. That's 4 W's now. That's 4 W's now. They're better than the Pacers. They're better than Orlando. They're better than the Bulls. They're better than the bottom tier of the East and the bottom tier of the West. Oh, and Pelicans. I could make the case for the Pelicans too. They have some assets. They can move around. They could be a contender in the West.
I was waiting for you to go CM Punk and be like, tell me when I'm telling lies.
But yeah.
So, okay, let's back to the Knicks. It's preseason, right? You can't take preseason as gospel. I've realized that at my old age.
I am not considering what happened against Washington yesterday.
No. I know Tibbs is pissed, but whatever. However, you still see some Tibbs-ish shit in the preseason.
Yeah.
He still plays guys too much. It just seems like the offense is still kind of stagnant still. I feel like there's been no change. It just seems like everything is status quo with this team. And if nothing changes with this team, and you will know in the first 5 minutes of opening night, because if we have 2 to 3 Julius Randle ISO moments,
yeah,
nothing changed. It's the same shit. Mike Brown was a defensive coach that was hired by, Golden State you're gonna run defense. We need help on defense. The Knicks should have gone to another coach that we need help with our offense. Okay. I look at it like the NFL, a head coach hiring an offensive coordinator. The Knicks need someone to come in and go, okay, we have to make this offense move. There's no movement anywhere. I still saw in the preseason, everything's kind of just like, okay, so yeah, Randall gets the ball here and here, and there's no gelling. There's nothing. It's just the same shit. That opening night, I'm going to text you, opening night, the first 5 minutes, we're going to see a couple possessions of Randall just sitting there dribbling or going to the right or doing whatever, some dumb shit, and it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any changes. That's why I'm going 42 tops. 42
Really?
and 40. 42 and 40.
So we got them both above 500. So 42 and 40, you light them. You see them in the playing team then?
I see him hovering 6 to 8. Like they might be in that. It's gonna be a difference of like 2 games. They're either gonna be 6 or they're gonna be in that 8-9 game in the play-in. But I just don't feel it.
Do you think Atlanta will have a better season than the Knicks?
Atlanta? What is their number? 42? I feel like they're same place. 42 just seems like a really good number for both teams.
And then we have to factor in the Heat. I think the Heat's projected like 44. I don't think they're a top 4 team because
they're gonna go, but they're gonna go above 44. That's easy. They're gonna go way above 44. Yeah, I think. I think the Heat. No, they don't. They don't take it seriously. I also feel like the Heat. Yeah. They're gonna make a move at some point. I don't think they're gonna like. Oh yeah, we're done here. This is where we are. They're gonna do something. I think 44 is low. I think the Heat could win 48, 49 games, maybe 50 if they hit right.
All right, and so that would probably put them as like the 4th best team in the East.
Yeah,
this is why I feel like the Knicks are still in that 4. They could compete for 4, like you said, probably finish 5 or 6. I don't see them as a play-in team yet. I don't think it's going to get that rock bottom for the Knicks.
Okay, so Bruce says something on the chat, and I'm curious about this because you don't really look at the whole roster, right? I just brought it up real quick, and I think we should look at it together. In no particular order: Jacob Toppin, Dante DiVincenzo, Nathan Knight. I'm assuming he's a 2-way. Miles McBride, Josh Hart, Dwayne Washington, another 2-way. Quickly, Grimes, Daquan Jeffries, probably 2-way. Barrett, Brunson, Fournier still there, which I forgot about. Charlie Brown Jr., that's superstar. Dylan Winder, and obviously some of these guys won't be in the team. This is like preseason training camp. Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, Jericho Sims, Arcidiacono still around, still kicking, and Hartenstein, who they used terribly last year. So this roster screams 42 wins. Wow. It screams 42. Their best idea should have been we can move Fournier and get a good reserve piece.
I'm surprised they haven't moved him yet.
He's not going to play. He's just sitting on the bench. He's Mox from Varsity Blues right now. He's just going to sit there and read a book.
Fournier for Harden?
We'll talk about Harden later because I don't want no part of that man. That man needed to get his life right and find Jesus. But I'll get there another time. Brooklyn, 37.
Wow. I'm going under for that.
Do you think Brooklyn's they're going to win less than 37 games?
If Dinwiddie's still running your point guard, yeah. And I don't trust Ben Simmons.
Well, no, I don't think anybody trusts Ben Simmons. But I don't know if you watched the game on Yes, because I still work for him technically. Frank Isola and the Yes crew were just hyping up Ben Simmons. Oh, Ben Simmons was great. Ben Simmons is great. Oh my God, it was great. Ben Simmons had 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. I'm like, okay, cool. So the passing is still there.
Okay.
He's gonna get rebounds because he's big as hell. He's still afraid to shoot the ball. Like he doesn't want to shoot. What are you hyping up? This preseason, he played like I can't pronounce the name of the team from Israel he played, and he looks great. I'm like, who is he playing against? Who's on the court right now? Like, what has happened? The Nets put a lot of stock into Ben Simmons. Sean Marks was like, oh, he's ready to go. Jacques Vaughn, he's ready to go. Until I see Ben Simmons play 20 consecutive games with no break. And if he hits a 3, maybe I'll change my view on it. But Ben Simmons is going to be the linchpin to that team imploding again because he's going to get hurt. He's going to twist his ankle. He's not going to be feeling how the offense is running through him because I just think they're putting a lot of stock into Ben Simmons, and that's going to be their downfall.
I agree. But if someone can get the best out of him, it's definitely Jacques Vaughn.
On Jacques Vaughn, he's real positive.
It has to be.
I have an issue with that. I feel like he's too just like, hey, we're building a culture, we're family, things are good. You know, we're working really hard, trying to get Ben into the flow. Mikel's great. I love Dennis Smith Jr. He's a good guy. He's too positive. And it irks me. I don't know why it irks me, but it just makes me angry.
After the stench of Kyrie and all that toxicity in air, can you blame the man for being positive? He's like, hey, listen, I got a job. Not much expected out of me.
I got a job.
The Liberty sucked out all the doubt.
It just irks me.
Ben Simmons might be on his best behavior.
I doubt that. I mean,
who gives more headaches this year, Ben Simmons or James Harden?
Harden. Easy, James Harden.
That's safe.
That's an easy one. Speaking of Harden, and we'll talk about Harden now. I think this is a good time to talk about it. Philly, their number is at 49. Now, Harden.
That's high.
During media day last week, James Harden pretty much went scorched earth. Did not refer to Daryl Morey by name, just called him front office. Said the relationship between him and the organization cannot be fixed. He said he'll practice. He said he'll be there for the first game. And the game against Brooklyn, he no-showed. And a no-show practice. And apparently he's in Houston, just chilling. And the Sixers are trying to figure out what to do with him and what punishment to give him. It seems like a Ben Simmons situation all over again. With all that said, 49, is that over under?
Definitely, I'm definitely going under. Him as a 45 team, and Embiid's going to be bumpy season about this. The ball rolling on him.
So 45 is the number. I think 45 is good. I feel like Harden's not going to play most of the season if he plays at all.
Embiid's probably going to miss like 50. Yeah.
Yeah, Embiid's going to get pissy and might request a trade. Actually, you know what? 40. I don't know. It's tough only because you don't know. They really haven't said much about Harden. You don't really know what the situation is. You don't know if he's coming back. You don't know. I feel like until we get some type of closure on it, we don't know. Bruce said your Wi-Fi is acting like Breonna Stewart tonight.
Oh, man. That's tough.
I'm going to go with 45. I'll go with your 45. I think that's an average year that'll get you the 4 or 5 seed because we have no idea what the hell's going to happen with James Harden because Morey showed us he's not just going to trade you for the hell of it. He's going to wait for the perfect deal. So I think they're stuck. I think they're stuck here, and I think 45 is the number.
I can't wait for their first primetime game on ESPN where someone asks Doc, so how was coaching James Harden last year?
It was great. Great player. It was great. The team I'm curious about is San Antonio. Their number's 29.
How much they won last year?
Last year they won, I want to say 20. Don't quote me on that. I got to look that up. Obviously, they had the number 1 pick, so it wasn't a good season for them. But they had a pretty good base.
Right, they had good parts.
So you add in Victor, and it's not. You still got Pop. 29 seems low. I feel like San Antonio could be this year's Oklahoma City Thunder. a team that nobody wants to play, a team's gonna play hard every night, is a young team, and they're just gritty because they got Pop, who's gonna make them gritty. It's 29 too low for him.
Yeah, I think it's too low. I can see them at 32 to 35 wins. But the only reason why I can see why Vegas has them at that is because the Western Conference is so loaded, man. It's like 1 to 10 can make the playoffs. And then you have the Spurs in that mix for anywhere between 9 and 12. So their wins are not going to be easy, but I could definitely see them between Pop and the core players they have. I can see them winning 30 games.
I'm trying to look up the record from last year because I'm curious about that because it's going to definitely be better. It's going to be better than last year.
Did they have the worst? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they had the worst.
Or was it not Detroit?
22 and 60. 22 and 60 was the record last year.
So they think when Miami is worth 7.
Yeah.
I think it's more than 7.
So we're saying
over.
Yeah, like you said 32, right?
32, yeah.
Yeah. Bruce is saying about 30. So yeah, about 30, 32. I think he's worth those wins. So I feel like and based on what I saw, once again, it's preseason. I know, don't kill me on this, people. But from what you saw in preseason, there's something there. Even the summer league, I'm like, okay, that first game was an aberration. That second game was what we're probably going to see more of. So I think definitely over. Going to Phoenix, 51. Too high, too low? What was that?
Under. I'm seeing them like 49. 49. I'm going 49, 47 to 49.
So right under the 51. Like they're about a couple games under that one.
They have no bench, and that lack of bench is going to cost them a lot of games.
Okay. Another one. Portland, 28. I think under.
Really?
They don't have Scoot's gonna be great, but keyword going to. He's gonna be great. They're gonna trade Jeremy Grant because they brought Jeremy Grant back almost as like a last resort to try to keep Dame happy. Now that you really don't need him, so you move off of him, get some pieces, you're back to square one. You don't have any. You have Anthony Simmons and you got Scoot. That's it. Yeah. You don't have Jokic anymore. Like you literally start from scratch. I think 28's way too high for him right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree between the talent and the conference is better. So that's gonna cause them to be having more growing pains than they need to. I think 27, 28.
Memphis, 45. Remember, Ja Morant missed the first 25 games of the season. So there's going to be a Marcus Smart party in Memphis, first 25 games. What do you got?
I think that's about like 40. I got 45, so I go over 1. I go over 1.
Okay. Lakers, 47.
Damn, that's all they got? It's 47?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to give them 50 wins.
Okay, so let's go back to your Lakers possibly winning an NBA championship. I need some more. What are you seeing? What are you seeing with the Lakers this year?
Maybe LeBron's going to be motivated. I like the banter they having with the Nuggets right now. I like that, and they have the Russell contract to flip. They could get another part there. So that's why I got them. Like, you know what? The move they made last year, it did work. It paid off in the end. Got them. Damn, how far the Lakers got last year? They got to the conference finals.
Yeah.
So I'm not throwing in the towel on the Lakers yet. They will always find a way to add a player that we were like, yeah, we didn't see that coming. They might even they might kick the tires and say, hey, we can handle Harden.
Hold on. I'm going to go back and look at something real quick because they got to the NBA Finals. True. However, I want to look at the bracket because I feel like
it did break for them. It did break for them.
It did. So I, being Laker hater, it broke for them in a perfect way, in a great way. So how much of that run was shit, we got lucky that we missed this team, and we got this team when we got this team, blah blah. Or were they really that good?
A good combination. They caught the Warriors when not at their strongest. They and then the Warriors did them a favor by knocking out is it Memphis? No, the Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been a tougher matchup for them if they had to play a young, full, juvenile Sacramento Kings team that had nothing to play for. They might have taken the Lakers out, but
yeah,
I like the pieces that the Lakers have, and they're still going to be able to make a move down the line. This is what the Lakers do. This is what they always do.
Bruce said Harden on the Lakers would be like Westbrook on the Lakers, a disaster. I agree with that.
But LeBron's desperate here. He's trying to catch Mike.
Golden State 47.
About right. 47,
okay.
48.
Denver 53.
I'm gonna go under because there's too much talent in the West. They
also lost a lot of players. They lost a lot of guys to free agency. So I feel like they're gonna be I think they're just pulling a lot of young guys and role players saying, okay, we're gonna make this work again. We're gonna do this all over again. Mm-hmm. I'm glad Bruce mentioned that in the chat. Golden State, their number 47.
I'm going under.
Ooh. How far under?
45.
Okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
The Kyrie Irving led Dallas Mavericks.
Under. I don't even know what the win total is. I'm going under.
The number's 43.
Vegas is very generous.
They really are.
I think they're a fringe 40 win team.
Okay. The ex Michael Jordan owned Charlotte Hornets 31.
Going under.
The Ime Udoka led Houston Rockets 31.
Wow, so they got 31 while the Spurs didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the pieces they have over there in Houston.
I do too.
I see them at 30, 35. I get about 35. They'll be competitive.
Sacramento 45. 44.
I'm going over. 47,
okay.
48. 47, 48.
And the last team I want to mention, because this is the interesting one, I think this is the debate. OKC 44, they get Chet this year. Then they get Chet back this year. So 44 is the number for OKC.
Top to bottom, they might have the best roster in the league of young talent.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them 50 wins.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. I wasn't saying shit. I was going like 46, 47.
Because I like the young talent they got, and now they're getting the guy back. And yeah, I see 50. Yeah, I forgot to put they're my fringe. If I gave you the top 7, they're the top 10 in championship aspirations.
Your list keeps getting longer and longer for who win a championship.
This is the most balance I've seen in the league in a long time.
Balance like
there's no easy win
any given night, or balance out. There's more teams winning championships.
No, balance on any given night you can get beat. Championship, I think I have to start with 7. It'll probably dwindle to like 6 or 5 by the time we get to January, February. But in terms of like easy wins, there's no easy wins in the league anymore.
No,
maybe Detroit. Right. Maybe
Detroit with their 18 centers on their roster. Yeah, probably Detroit. Detroit's the only team that you can go in there and you can play Dante DiVincenzo 45 minutes and come out with a win.
Yeah.
You mentioned OKC roster. SGA. They signed Davis Bertans, who's like a big guy who can shoot. Mm-hmm. Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren. Oladipo's there, which they're probably going to move him off, like flip or cut him most likely. Josh Giddey, Rudy Gay's there, so they might keep him, may not keep him.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams, Trey Mann. Jalen Williams is really good. Jalen. And then you have guys like Vasily Micic. He's going to be good. He comes over. I feel like you have so much depth on this team that you're right. I think top to bottom, I think this is one of the scariest rosters in the West where I could see OKC getting the 2 seed in the playoffs.
See, I see them top 5 in the West.
I can see that.
If they really they could be top 4. Because the usual suspects are not taking the regular season seriously.
Mm-hmm. Like OKC does because they're young. Those young guys just want ball. Like
they want ball.
That's a team full of young guys. It's like I just want ball. That's all I care about. All right. So over under. Obviously, the numbers always skewed. We'll do this next year, and it'll be the same shit. We'll probably hate it. Oh, Oladipo's just traded to Houston, so Oladipo's gone already. Great, perfect. Adam Silver mulling taking the All-Star game back to the East versus West format away from team captains, picking teams, stuff like that. I actually missed the East-West format. I think growing up with that just felt right. I think team captains picking and having the draft and is great for TV, but do you miss a little bit that East-West? Like, okay, who's the best conference? Like, who's better, East or West? I feel like it was legit.
It was, but the problem was so many of the All-Stars out West. And now that Dame is back to the East, it's kind of balanced a little bit. Now out West, you're really going to be competing for spots. I think in the East, not so much. We kind of know who the East All-Stars are right now. It's going to be top. It's going to be kind of hard to crack that. But the West, you got potential 3 shooters on the one team. And the Warriors, where they're going to be competing for all-star spots amongst each other.
I feel like I want this format back because, like you said, the West has the established guys. Like a Curry, the LeBrons, the Jokic. I feel like the East is where you got the young guys who are like, okay, we got to build this up a little bit.
Yep.
I feel like you don't have a lot of young guys in the West who are like killing it. Besides like SGA, and like you have those exceptions to the rule. I feel like the East is where all the young guys are, the West are where all the established guys are. And I kind of want to see that clash a little bit. I kind of want, obviously, All-Star game, you're not going to see a real clash. And then you ain't going to see a real game. But I think I watched the All-Star game with Magic when he came back. And he hit that 3 over Isaiah. And I'm like, damn, I missed that. Like, I legitimately missed that. Like, those All-Star games, and they were playing hard as hell.
You don't miss Wade, Bloody, and Kobe in All-Star game? I missed that.
I missed that. Oh my God, I missed that.
Or Kobe going after Mike, ruining his All-Star MVP.
Listen, All-Star games in general don't really mean anything. Like Pete Rose breaking Ray Fosse's leg in the MLB All-Star game, that was some crazy shit. Like those guys cared about like we want to beat the American League. Fuck them. Right. Like we don't like them. I feel like that's what's missing. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's All-Star weekend. We just chilling. We just chilling. I'm like, don't you want to just beat the shit out of the other team? Like
they got to do something. I agree.
So it's like just give a shit. That's what just give a shit. College sports, real quick. So Kansas was under investigation from the NCAA. Nothing happened. Okay, Oklahoma State under investigation. They self-imposed some penalties, and then the NCAA said you got to miss the 2022 tournament, which meant they lose money for making the tournament. So Oklahoma State gets penalized. Kansas doesn't get penalized. Bill Self doesn't get penalized for the whole Adidas thing and the money, whatever. Was this an example of, hey, it's Kansas, it's a blue blood, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt? Oklahoma State, not a blue blood. No one gives a shit about them. And Kansas has got like, it's okay, guys. It's cool. It happens all the time. And they got away with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Blue bloods get treated a little differently. Had it been Oklahoma instead of Oklahoma State, it's a totally different story. But it is what it is. We know how dirty the NCAA is.
Yeah, because they want the Kansases and the Dukes, Michigan State, who I'm going to talk about in a second. They want them to succeed because those are the teams that generate the most interest. Nobody wants to see Butler in the Final Four again. No one gives a shit. The NCAA does not want to see Norfolk State in the Final Four or George Mason. They want to see, they want to see North Carolina go. So Izzo says something interesting. I got to find the story, and it happened a couple weeks ago. And here it goes. It was about a week ago. So apparently, Tom Izzo, old coach, hates the transfer rules in the NCAA and how players can kind of jump from team to team if they're unhappy.
Why?
And his quote. I have flexibility. I can leave. I have millions of dollars of a buyout if I leave. I've paid 40 years of dues to leave. Most coaches have put in their time. Most coaches will be doing that at 35 and 40 and 50, not at 20 when one guy tells you to leave because you're unhappy. You know what? What's wrong with being unhappy? I'm unhappy most of my life. Unhappy drives you. Unhappy pushes you. Unhappy makes people realize, you know what? I'm not good enough. I've got to get better. I'm not for what they're looking to do. I think 30 days would have been plenty, but essentially saying, shut the fuck up. You don't got the time in. You're children. Do what you're told and shut up. What are your thoughts on another old coach? Because you had Kay, you had Jay Wright, you had Jim Boeheim. Now you got Tom Izzo saying, I don't like how things are going in college sports because the players are becoming more incentivized to do what the hell they want and say, I want to make this decision based on my happiness.
I mean, they got their rights to feel that way. You know, they're old tradition, old school coaches. I get it, but that's just not how things work today in today's landscape of sports. They're entitled to make the decision to leave if they feel like, hey, I'm not getting the touches here. You're not coaching me the right way. They got to do what's best for the player. The player's got to do what's best for the player. So sometimes, you got to bet on yourself. Don't rely on the traditional system and just roll the dice to see what happens. But on the same token, how many All-Stars has Izzo produced in the NBA?
Was Jason Richardson an All-Star?
A fringe.
Like once.
Yeah.
Lateen Cleaves, no. Steve Smith was before him.
Mm-hmm. It's just Draymond.
Yeah, holy shit, yeah. Huh.
It's just Draymond. So it's one of those things that makes you wonder, like, listen, man, I'm gonna need more receipts from you before you start telling me what to do in the transfer portal. But
yeah, Bruce said Draymond. He called that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I never thought of Michigan. Michigan State's not producing all-stars at all.
They're not even all-stars. Like in terms of like we see what Villanova's producing in the league. He doesn't have that track record of great. Now I want to say great talent, but like he has a great coaching system, but he hasn't won anything in a while too. So it's one of those things. I understand why he's upset, but I feel like you have to adapt. The same thing we said about Boeheim. He hasn't adapted.
Zach Randolph. That's a Bruce call. So 2 in the last 28 years.
Exactly. I'm gonna need the coach to let's pipe down a little bit.
I mean, I will say this: Lateen Cleaves was my dude back in the day.
He was great.
He was my guy in college.
He was great.
I liked him. And Kahlil Elamine, still best point guard UConn history. Putting it out there. That's my dude. Yeah, at this point, we're looking at a system where the players have more autonomy and the old coaches can't stand it. Jaren Jackson, yes. Jaren Jackson ain't there. I'm not going to put Jaren Jackson on this list yet. He's too young. He's still a youngster. He still drinks Similac. The coaches hate it because they don't have the full say of what the players can and can't do. The players like, I don't like it here. I don't like you. I'm leaving. I'm going to find a situation that's better for me. You came to my house. You sold me on some bullshit. I got here. You treat me like garbage. I'm going to play someplace else with a coach that actually appreciates what I do.
You told me the Big Ten is the greatest in the world.
With their 28 teams. Yes, the Big Ten.
That's going to be so much fun next year. Oh, next year's going to be so much fun.
It's really not, actually. Because I feel like we're not done because the ACC just got SMU, Stanford, and Cal. The Big Ten got all their teams.
To be fair, I feel like Stanford sounds like an ACC team.
It really does.
Stanford, Duke, sign me up. And I'm not talking about college basketball, football. I'm talking about spelling bees and volleyball and all that. Sign me up.
Any type of quiz bowls, I'm down for.
I'm here.
Stanford, Duke.
Yep.
And then Big Ten got their team. Big Ten got the teams. The SEC gets Texas and Oklahoma next year. The Pac-12, I know Washington State and Oregon State is fighting to keep that going, which they're going to end up merging with the Mountain West probably. So Pac-12 is going to continue in some form.
That makes sense.
And then I just feel like we're not done. I feel like there's more shit that's going to happen with this realignment that's going to just continue to make. It's going to be 3 to 4 big conferences. It's going to break off and by NCAA do your own shit. We're doing our own thing over here.
Yeah,
and you gotta figure your house out. I think that's gonna be end game. Last topic, and Bruce mentioned it. Talk about how AEW is dead. I resent that statement. It is not dead. They drew 900,000 people last night. I will say this. I meant to text you and I forgot because people were popping hella shit about NXT beat AEW last week. I'm like,
that was terrible.
It was a Raw homecoming show on NXT. To beat AEW. Let's be honest. I tried to get the bait on Twitter and Facebook and all these WWE drones like shoot. They literally had the breakout Undertaker from his Blue Lives Matter rally. They had the breakout Cena. They had the breakout Cody Rhodes to make an announcement about the goddamn Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They had the breakout Paul Heyman. They had to bring out Asuka. I'm like, you literally had a 2-hour show that was like a Raw. What NXT guys sprinkled in. The NXT guys sprinkled around. It was like
definitely felt like it was ran by DX. It definitely felt like a DX show.
I know. Road Dogg in the back, like, we got this, right, Hunter? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
AEW Retirement Wrestling League. Here's the thing. Bruce, I'm tired of people saying that because here's the difference, right? Sting announced he's retiring. They got Christian. They got Edge. Are any of these guys going for the big belt? No.
Right. And that was the problem with WWE. They never used these guys properly. Like, I had no idea that Edge wanted to wrestle full time. They used him like every once in a blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where
if WWE had Sting would have been world champion twice already.
Yeah.
Goldberg came in and killed the Fiend. You had the hottest character on TV get murdered by Goldberg in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's Goldberg. Goldberg's like 50. I think AEW uses the guys right. Christian has a secondary title. Build that title up, and then the idea is build it up, and the young guy comes, takes it from him. Because the person who beats Christian, he's made.
Now it's a big thing. It's a made, yeah, exactly.
Right? Sting's last match might be against Darby. Darby beats Sting out the door, Darby's made.
Yep.
Edge, I think that's what they want to do. I think so. It's a slow burn. I think AEW's a little dead right now, but I think they're like, hey, we're gonna start slow burning some stuff now, and like just let it simmer. And Brian Danielson's doing a lot of booking. Yeah, I think he gets that. Christian's probably doing a lot backstage. I feel like FTR's doing a lot of stuff. FTR's the one who came up with the idea to give the belts to Ricky Starks and Big Bill,
which was smart. I like that booking because and for some strange reason, people thought FTR was leaving. No, that was actually good booking.
What about the AEW athletes leaving for WWE? One person left. Jade left.
It made sense. It made sense for her to leave because they weren't going to pay her what she thought she was worth, and WWE is just going to spin her and make her Sasha Banks 2.0.
Yeah, and then stop using her, and she'll be in a comedy sketch with Grayson Waller on a Friday night.
I told people she's destined to be Zeus 2.0. She'll look hot for like a year, and then that's it. It's gonna be Tatanka level sinking. It's gonna be bad.
Wow, Tatanka! Holy shit!
I know in the back of my head. Remember when he was undefeated and he was like really hot, and then when he took that first loss, oh my god, his stock just plummeted.
Wait, and then joined the $1 Million Corporation.
Yep.
And then like, wait, he's a bad guy now? what the hell happened?
They had to make him sell out.
We really got to do Tri-State Heat. We really got to do that. We got to get that back. We have so much to talk about and not enough time on the show. Jason, as always, great show, bro.
Likewise.
So it is. He mentioned Cody's been gone for like a year. Cody's not. Cody's gone. Cody's always going back. Let's be honest. Cody was destined to go back.
Yeah.
Season underway. Season premiere for Bruce SC on December. Every Thursday night we'll be back. Now we got shit to talk about because it's actually basketball season. So basketball season starts next week. College basketball season starts. We actually have things to talk about. So every Thursday night here on YouTube. And then Friday morning on Spotify, iTunes, you get the replay. You hear us. So every Thursday nights here on the One Podcast Network YouTube channel, and then Spotify for the podcast audio version. The next Bruce, Happy New Year. See you in January. So every Thursday we'll be back. Opening night next week. So when we come back, we'll have one night of games already under our belt, and it will be Overreaction Thursday here on the Box Out after one night. So it should be very fun for us always. So for Jason, I am Kahlil. Thanks so much for watching, listening. We'll see you next Thursday night, 8 p.m. here on the Box Out. Peace.
Peace.
This has been The Boxed Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Cordner. Subscribe now for the best tri-state area basketball talk.